There's a patch of the Atlantic Ocean, covering about 500,000 square miles between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Sailors call it the Devil's Triangle. The rest of us know it as the Bermuda Triangle. For over a century, this mysterious region has been blamed for planes falling from the sky, ships vanishing without a trace, and even compasses spinning in circles. But how much of it is true, and how much is legend? Let's start at the surface with the cases everybody talks about. Layer 1. Flight 19. On December 5, 1945, 5 Navy Avenger torpedo bombers left Fort Lauderdale on a routine training mission. It should have been simple, a quick flight out over the ocean, practice a bombing run, then return to base. But soon after they left, radio transmissions revealed something was wrong. The leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, reported that his compasses had failed. He couldn't tell which way was west and the landmarks didn't make sense. Radio logs recorded his words. "We can't find west. Everything looks wrong. Even the ocean doesn't look as it should." For nearly 2 hours, Taylor's voice grew more desperate. He thought they were over the Florida Keys, but in reality they were heading further out to sea. Fuel ran low. The last transmission came around 7 p.m. And this is what it said. "All planes close up tight. We'll have to ditch unless landfall. When the first plane drops below 10 gallons, we all go down together." Then silence. 5 bombers vanished. The Navy scrambled a massive search and rescue effort. Incredibly, one of the rescue planes, a PBM Mariner with 13 crew, also disappeared. No wreckage of Flight 19 was ever found. The official Navy explanation was that the pilots became disoriented, ran out of fuel, and ditched into the ocean. But critics point out that even with rough seas, at least something should have floated. Life vests, debris, oil slicks. Instead, nothing. That blank space is what fed the legend. Some say the squadron flew through a portal. Others believe alien abduction, and some even claim time travel. What we know for sure: 14 men in Flight 19, plus 13 on the rescue plane, vanished forever. 2. USS Cyclops. The Cyclops was one of the Navy's biggest ships. A massive coal carrier, 540 feet long, with over 300 crew. In March of 1918, it left Barbados heading toward Baltimore. It never arrived. No SOS was ever sent, no debris, no wreckage, no bodies were ever recovered. Just gone. Theories exploded. Some said it was sunk by a German U-boat during World War I. Others whispered sabotage from the inside, pointing at the ship's captain, who was rumored to sympathize with Germany. But the strange part is how silent the disappearance was. A ship that size going down would have caused panic, at least a distress signal. Yet nothing was ever heard. The Navy's final statement was chillingly vague. "Only God and the sea know what happened to the great ship." That phrase alone cemented the Cyclops as a core part of the Bermuda Triangle mythos. And it wasn't the last. 2 sister ships, Proteus and Nereus, also vanished years later under similar conditions. 3. Compass malfunctions. One of the oldest reports from the Bermuda Triangle is that compasses don't work there. Sailors complained that their needles spun wildly, pointing nowhere or locked in a single direction that led them off course. To early explorers, this was proof of supernatural forces. Some believed the triangle was cursed, others thought there was a giant magnet buried beneath the ocean dragging compasses around. Science later provided an explanation. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the rare spots on Earth where magnetic north, the direction a compass points, and true north, the actual North Pole, line up almost perfectly. Normally, navigators had to account for a few degrees of magnetic declination, depending on where they were in the world. But in the triangle, that difference disappears. Pilots and sailors unfamiliar with the anomaly might think their compass was malfunctioning when really it was working perfectly, but misleading them. Even so, in the middle of a storm or with low visibility, a misleading compass is enough to push ships and planes hundreds of miles off course. So, at the tip of the iceberg, we've got the famous cases. A squadron of Navy bombers that vanished into thin air, a massive ship that never called for help, and strange reports of compasses going haywire. These are the stories everyone knows. But the deeper we dive into this iceberg, the stranger the theories get, and the explanations grow even harder to separate from the myths. Layer 2. The cases at the surface are enough to spook anyone, but the further you dive, the weirder it gets. Here in the second layer of the iceberg, explanations range from powerful natural forces to alien involvement, and each one has its believers. 1. Rogue waves. Some oceanographers suggest that many triangle disappearances could be blamed on rogue waves, sudden walls of water that appear seemingly out of nowhere. These waves can tower over 100 feet tall, hitting ships with the force of a small explosion. Imagine being on a freighter or a Navy ship. One moment calm seas, the next a skyscraper of water smashing down. Even massive vessels like the USS Cyclops could be destroyed instantly. For decades, rogue waves were dismissed as sailors' tales. But in 1995, the oil platform Draupner in the North Sea recorded a single wave nearly 84 feet tall. That was the first confirmed rogue wave, proving sailors weren't exaggerating. Skeptics of the Bermuda Triangle mystery argue that disappearances are simply extreme weather mixed with rogue waves. No aliens, no time portals, just the unforgiving power of the ocean. 2. Methane gas eruptions. Another scientific theory is tied to the seafloor itself. Parts of the ocean bed in the Bermuda Triangle contain large deposits of methane hydrates, frozen gas trapped under pressure. If these deposits suddenly rupture, they can release massive bubbles of methane gas into the water. When this happens, the density of the seawater drops dramatically. Ships floating on the surface would suddenly lose buoyancy and sink almost instantly, as if swallowed by the ocean. Some geologists even created small-scale experiments in labs where boats literally vanished into bubbly water. Now, methane doesn't explain every disappearance, especially aircraft, but the idea that the ocean itself could turn against ships in this way adds a whole new layer of eeriness to the triangle's reputation. 3. Sudden storms. Waterspouts. The Bermuda Triangle sits in a unique spot where warm tropical air meets cold ocean currents. That's a recipe for sudden and violent weather. Pilots have reported skies that went from crystal clear to total blackout in minutes. Winds reaching hurricane strength can tear a plane apart mid-flight. Waterspouts, tornadoes that form over the ocean, can rip ships in half. In 2015, a cargo ship called the El Faro sank near the triangle after sailing directly into Hurricane Joaquin. All 33 crew members were lost. Investigators later confirmed the captain underestimated the storm's power. While this wasn't a mysterious disappearance, it shows how quickly weather in the triangle can turn fatal. Storms might not be as flashy as alien abductions, but they remain one of the most grounded and deadliest explanations. 4. Alien abductions. Of course, not every explanation is grounded. For decades, UFO enthusiasts have pointed to the Bermuda Triangle as a hotspot for alien activity. The theory goes like this: when ships and planes disappear without wreckage, it's because they're being taken, snatched by extraterrestrials for study. This idea exploded in popularity in the 1960s and 70s when UFO culture was booming. Several books even claimed eyewitnesses saw strange lights in the sky just before disappearances. There's no evidence to back this up, But it's one of the most enduring ideas tied to the triangle. To some, the silence of Flight 19 isn't disorientation, it's abduction. 5. Time warps portals. Another layer of speculation suggests the Bermuda Triangle contains some sort of rift in time and space. Pilots have described entering strange clouds where their instruments went haywire, only to emerge hundreds of miles off course, or in some cases, claiming they arrived at their destination impossibly fast. One of the most famous stories is from pilot Bruce Gernon in 1970. He reported flying into a tunnel-like cloud, with lightning swirling around him. His instruments went crazy, his plane lost radar contact, and when he finally escaped the cloud, he was 100 miles further than he should have been, with fuel that hadn't run out. Gernon believed he had passed through a time warp. Scientists argue he probably encountered a rare weather phenomenon known as an electronic fog, a storm cloud that disrupts instruments. But to this day, his story fuels the portal theory. So in this second layer, the triangle is no longer just ships and planes disappearing. It becomes a battleground of explanations, some rooted in science, rogue waves, methane eruptions, sudden storms, and others that push us toward the extraordinary, alien abductions, and rips in time itself. But the deeper the iceberg goes, the stranger the theories become, and the harder they are to separate from pure legend. Layer 3. The surface of the iceberg gave us lost planes and missing ships. The second layer gave us storms and science. But here in the third layer, things get strange. These are theories that sound like they belong in science fiction, except some people believe they're all too real. 1. Atlantis and the crystal power theory. One of the most popular fringe theories links the Bermuda Triangle to the lost city of Atlantis. The idea is that somewhere beneath the waters of the triangle lies the remains of the advanced civilization Plato described thousands of years ago. Some say the Atlanteans used powerful crystal technology that still operates underwater today, interfering with ships and planes, causing compass malfunctions, or even dragging vessels beneath the sea. In the 1970s, writer Charles Berlitz popularized this theory in his best-selling book, The Bermuda Triangle. He claimed divers had spotted pyramid-like structures on the ocean floor near the Bahamas, made from crystal or glass. Skeptics say what divers actually saw were natural rock formations, like the Bimini Road, a series of rectangular stones off the coast of Bimini Island. Geologists insist they're natural limestone slabs, but believers say they're the remnants of Atlantis, and that its hidden technology is the true engine behind the triangle's mysteries. 2. Underwater pyramids. Closely tied to Atlantis are reports of massive pyramids beneath the triangle. In the 1960s, a doctor named Ray Brown claimed he discovered a crystal pyramid while diving near the Bahamas. Inside, he said, was a glowing crystal sphere that gave off energy. His story spread through paranormal circles, fueling the idea that pyramids at the bottom of the triangle act like giant transmitters, sending out electromagnetic waves that disrupt navigation systems. Mainstream science dismisses the claims. No credible evidence of man-made pyramids has ever been found in the Bermuda region. Still, the idea of giant crystal pyramids hiding beneath the seafloor has remained a staple of triangle lore. 3. Government experiments. Philadelphia experiment connection. Some conspiracy theorists tie the Bermuda Triangle to secret U.S. Navy experiments, particularly the infamous Philadelphia experiment. According to legend, in 1943, the Navy attempted to make the destroyer escort USS Eldridge invisible using electromagnetic fields. Witnesses later claimed the ship not only vanished from radar, but also teleported hundreds of miles away, with sailors fused into the bulkheads when it reappeared. The story was later debunked as a hoax, but it didn't matter. Conspiracy theorists argue that the same kind of experiments were continued in the Bermuda Triangle, creating rifts in space and time that swallowed ships and planes. The US Navy denies this, of course, but to believers, the silence only proves the cover-up. 4. Cursed Waters, the Devil's Triangle. Long before it was called the Bermuda Triangle, sailors had another name for the region, the Devil's Triangle. For centuries, explorers recorded strange lights, ghostly ships, and storms that seemed to appear out of nowhere. Some even said the waters themselves were cursed. Christopher Columbus, on his first voyage in 1492, recorded strange events in this region. He wrote of seeing a great flame crash into the sea, possibly a meteor, and later described odd lights dancing on the horizon. His crew also complained of compass problems. Believers say this was the first documented encounter with the triangle's supernatural power. Skeptics argue Columbus was just seeing natural phenomena, meteors, bioluminescent algae, and the magnetic declination anomaly. Still, the legend of a cursed sea stuck and gave the region its sinister reputation long before modern disappearances made headlines. 5. The Lost Souls Theory. Some stories go even darker. The triangle, they say, is haunted by the spirits of those who have perished there. According to this view, every sailor lost at sea, every pilot who ditched into the ocean, adds to an ever-growing army of restless ghosts. These spirits are said to confuse instruments, lure ships off course, and drag planes from the sky. There's no evidence for this, of course, but it explains why so many navigators have reported uneasy feelings while crossing the triangle, as if they were being watched. To believers, it isn't weather or magnetism, it's the dead, pulling others down to join them. In this third layer, the Bermuda Triangle stops being a natural mystery and becomes something far stranger. The ruins of Atlantis, pyramids of crystal, secret government experiments, cursed waters, and restless ghosts. The deeper we dive, the less it feels like science, and the more it feels like legend. But this iceberg still goes further down, and the strangest ideas are yet to come. Layer 4. At this depth of the iceberg, the Bermuda Triangle stops being about missing ships and storms. Down here, it's a cosmic mystery, a place where reality itself may not behave the way we think it does. These are the strangest theories of all, and they stretch far beyond science. 1. Alien base beneath the triangle. One of the most persistent deep theories is that the Bermuda Triangle hides an underwater alien base. Believers claim UFO sightings over the region aren't flying saucers at all. They're USOs, unidentified submerged objects. These craft supposedly dive beneath the ocean and vanish into hidden bases on the seafloor. Reports of glowing lights beneath the waves, strange radar blips, and fast-moving objects tracked underwater have fueled this theory. Of course, no evidence has ever been found. No bases, no ships, nothing. But to UFO enthusiasts, that just proves how well hidden the aliens really are. 2. Portals to other dimensions. Some theorists claim the Bermuda Triangle isn't just an area of strange weather. It's a gateway to another dimension. This ties back to reports like pilot Bruce Gernon's time tunnel in 1970. Believers say he didn't just hit a strange storm cloud. He briefly entered another dimension, which explains why his flight covered distance in an impossible amount of time. Others go further, saying disappearances like Flight 19 weren't crashes at all. The planes simply passed through an interdimensional portal and never returned. Scientists dismiss this as fantasy, but to those who believe, the triangle isn't deadly, it's a door. 3. Hollow Earth connection. Here's where the iceberg gets truly bizarre. Some conspiracy theorists believe the Bermuda Triangle is one of several entrances to Hollow Earth, a vast, hidden world inside the planet, populated by advanced beings. According to this idea, ships and planes don't sink. They slip through energy vortexes that connect the surface world to the inner one. This theory gained traction in the 20th century thanks to fringe writers who tied it to other mystery spots, like the poles. While there's no scientific support for Hollow Earth, the connection remains a staple in triangle lore. 4. Reptilian influence. A darker twist comes from the reptilian conspiracy theory. Some believe the Bermuda Triangle is controlled by reptilian entities, shape-shifting beings that live beneath the earth or the ocean. In this theory, disappearances are intentional abductions. Ships and planes aren't accidents. They're sacrifices or experiments, taken by reptilians who monitor humanity from the deep. This is pure fringe conspiracy with no grounding in fact, but it shows how the Triangle's legend has been adopted into nearly every major conspiracy web. 5. A military cover-up. Others believe the strangest part of the Triangle is that there is no mystery at all, only a cover-up. According to this theory, the US military knows exactly why ships and planes vanish there. Some say it's because of experimental weapons testing, sonar blasts, energy weapon, or even early research into teleportation. Others suggest it's because they found something in the Triangle. Alien tech, lost civilization ruins, or something too powerful to reveal. The lack of wreckage in many cases is explained by government cleanup teams, making sure no one discovers what really happened. Officially, the US Coast Guard and Navy deny the Bermuda Triangle is any more dangerous than any other part of the ocean. But for believers, that denial is exactly the point. By the fourth layer, the Bermuda Triangle is no longer just an ocean mystery. It's an alien outpost, a dimensional gateway, an entrance to Hollow Earth, or even the hunting grounds of reptilian overlords. Whether you believe any of it or not, the fact that so many theories exist shows how deep this legend runs. But the iceberg still isn't finished, because the final layer takes us into the most obscure and unsettling ideas of all. Layer 5. We've gone from missing planes to Atlantis to alien bases, but in the deepest part of the iceberg, the Bermuda Triangle stops being a mystery to solve and becomes something darker. These are the rarest, strangest, and most chilling theories of all. 1. The Bermuda Triangle is alive. Some theorists believe the triangle isn't just a location, it's a living entity. The ocean here is seen as a predator, actively feeding on ships and planes. Every disappearance is viewed as an act of hunger, the triangle consuming human technology and life for its own survival. Believers point to the lack of debris as proof, like a predator that leaves nothing behind. Of course, skeptics say the ocean simply swallows wreckage into deep trenches, but to those who believe, the triangle itself is a beast, and we are its prey. 2. Human sacrifice. Ancient rituals. An unsettling theory claims the Bermuda Triangle was once a site of ancient human sacrifice. Some tie it to the Caribbean's early civilizations, suggesting that offerings were made to sea gods in this very region. The legend goes that the spirits of those sacrificed still demand victims, and modern disappearances are just a continuation of this ancient blood price. There's no evidence for this, but the idea of a cursed ocean that still takes sacrifices resonates with many who fear the triangle. 3. The triangle as a prison. Another abyss-level theory, the Bermuda Triangle is not just a danger zone, but a prison. This view suggests the triangle is a supernatural barrier designed to keep something locked away beneath the sea. Ships and planes don't vanish because they're unlucky. They vanish because they stray too close to what's imprisoned there. Some claim it's a godlike entity. Others say it's alien technology, or even a fallen angel trapped beneath the waves. Whatever it is, The triangle is seen as the world's most dangerous cell. 4. The triangle and the occult. There are whispers that secret societies, like occult groups or even world governments, use the Bermuda Triangle for rituals and experiments. The lack of accountability, the lawless waters, and the history of vanishings create the perfect stage for hidden practices. Some claim disappearances aren't accidents, but chosen sacrifices or energy-harvesting rituals. There's no hard evidence, but the association between cursed waters and ritual magic has been repeated in paranormal books and conspiracy forums for decades. 5. The Bermuda Triangle doesn't exist. Statistical studies show ships and planes disappear here at no higher rate than anywhere else in the ocean. Insurance companies don't even charge more for ships crossing the triangle. According to this theory, the entire legend was manufactured, fueled by books in the 1960s and 70s, sensational media, and our natural fear of the unknown. In this version, there is no curse, no aliens, no Atlantis, just a dangerous stretch of ocean, given power by human imagination. At the deepest point of the iceberg, the Bermuda Triangle is either a living predator, a site of ancient sacrifice, a prison for something unspeakable, or a grand illusion created by myth itself. Maybe the scariest possibility of all is that it isn't the ocean we need to fear, but our own stories. Because once a legend takes hold, it has a way of pulling us in, just like the triangle. Layer 6. The Forgotten Floor. If Layer 5 was the abyss, then Layer 6 is what lies beneath the abyss. Ideas so rare and strange they feel like they were never meant to surface. These are the theories the triangle keeps buried, the ones that feel more like forbidden knowledge than mystery. 1. The Bermuda Triangle as a sentient trap. At this depth, the theory isn't just that the triangle is alive, but that it's intelligent. Some fringe believers claim the triangle actively lures ships and planes into its grasp. Strange lights in the sky, compasses spinning, mysterious radio static, these aren't side effects, they're bait. The triangle doesn't just take people, it chooses them. The disappearances aren't random but part of an intelligent pattern we can't yet see. 2. An interdimensional farm. One chilling idea. The Bermuda Triangle is an extraction zone, a place where non-human entities harvest humans. The vanishings aren't accidents or even sacrifices, they're abductions for resources. Some tie this to alien theories, saying humans are being collected for biological material. Others claim energy itself is being harvested, fear, death, or even the soul. It's not just a trap, it's a farm. 3. Time sinkholes. A rare theory says the Bermuda Triangle contains time sinkholes, places where time doesn't move normally. The idea isn't portals where you come out somewhere else, but holes where time just stops. A ship could sail into one, freeze for centuries, and then either reappear unchanged or never emerge at all. Some believers link this to occasional reports of ghost ships found drifting empty in the ocean, food still on the tables, as if the crew simply vanished mid-meal. 4. The ocean as a conscious archive. This theory comes from esoteric writings, that the ocean itself is a recording system for human memory. The Bermuda Triangle, in this view, is where the archives are strongest. Ships and planes vanish not physically, but are absorbed into the ocean's memory, erased from the material world and stored in an eternal record. It's part metaphysical, part cosmic horror, the idea that the ocean chooses what to remember and what to erase. 5. The triangle as a lock. In the deepest conspiracy webs, the Bermuda Triangle isn't a danger by accident, it's a seal. The belief is that beneath the ocean lies something ancient, imprisoned, and immensely powerful. The triangle's storms, disappearances, and anomalies aren't random. They're the defense system. If the triangle ever fails, whatever is buried there, alien, demon, or god, will rise. Disappearances aren't victims, they're collateral damage to keep the lock intact. 6. The unnameable theory. Finally, there's a concept too vague to even be defined. In occult forums, some warn against naming what the Bermuda Triangle is. The idea is that it's not a place, or even a phenomenon. It's a conceptual trap. Once you start studying it deeply, it begins to notice you. Disappearances aren't limited to ships and planes. They can also be minds. People who obsess over the triangle too much supposedly slip away from reality. Not by drowning in the sea, but by being erased from the story itself. At this final layer, the Bermuda Triangle isn't a storm or a portal. It's alive. It's a prison. It's a farm. It's a cosmic lock keeping something sealed beneath the waves. Or maybe it isn't even a place at all, but a thought virus that grows stronger every time we speak its name. If the earlier layers were unnerving, Layer 6 is where the triangle becomes terrifying. Layer 7, the drowned archives. We've passed the myths, the conspiracies, and even forbidden floor. Now we enter what some call the drowned archives. The theories that are so rare and unsettling, they feel like they were pulled up from the bottom of the ocean itself. 1. The sound map of the triangle. Some researchers believe the Bermuda Triangle hums with a low-frequency sound, inaudible to most humans, but strong enough to affect navigation, mood, and even thought. The idea is that the ocean floor acts like a giant speaker, vibrating with infrasound that causes disorientation, hallucinations, and panic. Ships might crash or vanish not because of storms or aliens, but because they were literally driven insane by the sound of the sea. 2. Reverse reality zones. A fringe theory suggests the Bermuda Triangle contains reversed reality bubbles. Inside these, the rules of physics don't just warp, they invert. Time flows backward. Gravity pulls sideways. Cause and effect break apart. To anyone who enters, it would feel like slipping into a nightmare where the world itself refuses to make sense. The idea goes that vessels that vanish aren't destroyed. They're stuck in a reality that runs opposite to ours. 3. The Leviathan hypothesis. Instead of aliens or Atlantis, some say the disappearances are caused by a colossal living creature that roams the deeps. This isn't the Kraken of sailor lore, but something older, hungrier, and smarter. It supposedly rises every few decades, pulling ships down with whirlpools it creates, or striking planes with electromagnetic pulses from its body. The disappearances, in this view, aren't random. They're the feeding pattern of a predator we can't comprehend. 4. Forgotten colonial experiments. A darker historical theory. The Bermuda Triangle is the site of early colonial experiments in navigation and energy. In the 16th and 17th centuries, European empires were obsessed with controlling the seas. Some accounts suggest attempts to weaponize geomagnetic fields in this region, experiments that fractured reality itself. These tests may have left a permanent scar, a broken patch of ocean, where physics never fully recovered. Every disappearance since then is just fallout from an old mistake. 5. The triangle as an oceanic computer. Some esoteric writers claim the Bermuda Triangle is not natural at all, but a machine built into the Earth. The idea is that the ocean floor hides a biological supercomputer created by an ancient civilization, using magnetic fields and crystalline structures as processors. Ships and planes that vanish aren't destroyed. They're scanned, copied, and erased, their data absorbed into the system. The triangle is less a trap and more an archive, storing human history in ways we can't decode. 6. Disappearances as recruitment. One of the eeriest theories. Not all disappearances are accidents. Instead, the triangle is a recruitment zone. Ships and planes that vanish don't sink. They're taken, crew and all, into another reality, drafted into an unknown purpose. Some say it's aliens. Others say it's interdimensional beings waging a war we can't perceive. Whatever it is, the disappearances aren't deaths. They're draft notices. At this level, the Bermuda Triangle stops being a riddle of storms and compasses and becomes something far stranger. A sound that drives men mad, a broken patch of reality, a predator lurking in the deeps, or even a machine harvesting humanity. If the ocean keeps secrets, Layer 7 is where those secrets start to feel alive. Layer 8, the Black Abyss. If Layer 7 was the drowned archives, theories hidden beneath waves, then Layer 8 is the Black Abyss. This is where the triangle stops being a mystery of the ocean and becomes something cosmic, terrifying, and almost unspeakable. 1. The Black Pyramid of the Deep. Some divers and remote sonar reports claim there is a massive black pyramid buried under the seafloor of the triangle. Unlike the Crystal Pyramid myth, this one is described as obsidian-like and light-absorbing. According to fringe accounts, the pyramid isn't man-made. It's a power node left behind by something non-human. The theory goes that it projects waves of energy that distort time, space, and even memory itself. Ships don't just vanish, they're wiped from existence. 2. The Triangle as a Stargate. A cosmic theory claims the Bermuda Triangle is actually a gateway to other star systems. Not like a wormhole in space, but a seagate, a watery passage that bends into the universe. Craft that vanish may be hurled light years away, pulled into alien skies or strange dimensions. In this version, the triangle is less a curse and more a portal highway, but one we can't control. 3. The Siren Protocol. Sailors for centuries have spoken of hearing voices on the wind in the triangle. The modern theory is that this isn't mythology. It's an intelligent broadcast. A signal tuned directly to human brains lures pilots and captains off course. It's described as a modern version of the siren song, an acoustic manipulation not designed to crash ships, but to guide them into capture. 4. The Sunken Black Vault. According to one fringe legend, deep beneath the ocean lies a sealed vault, a kind of cosmic storage chamber. Inside is said to be something humanity was never meant to find: forbidden technology, a dead god, or even a reset switch for civilization. The Bermuda Triangle in this telling is not the vault itself, but the security system. It swallows anything that drifts too close. 5. The Triangle as an Inverted Heaven. Some occult writings suggest the Bermuda Triangle is a mirror of heaven, but inverted. In this worldview, angels guard the skies, but in the triangle, it's their fallen reflections. Disappearances are framed not as random tragedy, but as soul harvests, with the victims drawn into a parallel spiritual ecosystem that feeds on human energy. It's not about ships or planes, it's about people. 6. The Never Return Theory. The most chilling idea of this layer: those who vanish don't die, but they continue existing in another Bermuda Triangle. Imagine this: every disappearance creates a copy of the triangle in another dimension, and the lost vessels are trapped in those parallel oceans forever. Each one adds a new layer, creating an infinite nesting doll of triangles. That's why nothing returns. Once you're pulled in, you're not just lost, you're somewhere else entirely. In the Black Abyss, the Bermuda Triangle is no longer just an oceanic mystery. It becomes a pyramid of power, a vault of secrets, a cosmic gate, and perhaps even a mirror of the afterlife itself. At this depth, the question isn't what the triangle does, it's why it exists at all. Layer 9. The Abyssal Veil. If the Black Abyss was about forbidden structures and cosmic gates, then Layer 9 is about the veil itself. The sense that the triangle isn't just a place, but a boundary. At this depth, the theories stop being explanations and start being warnings. 1. The ocean that dreams. Some occultists suggest the Bermuda Triangle is where the ocean itself is alive, not metaphorically, but literally. They believe the water there dreams, and those dreams are strong enough to warp reality. Ships vanish because they've been pulled into the mind of the sea. Time loops, hallucinations, and vanishing vessels aren't accidents. They're side effects of being swallowed by a sentient ocean that can't wake up. 2. The Echo of Atlantis. A darker twist on Atlantis. Instead of being a city that sank, Atlantis may have been trapped in a repeating death cycle. The Bermuda Triangle is where we feel its echo, a dimensional scar that replays the destruction endlessly. Disappearances happen when modern vessels overlap with that echo and are dragged into Atlantis's last moments, forced to relive the catastrophe again and again. 3. The triangle as a cosmic warning sign. Some esoteric writers argue the triangle isn't a trap, it's a signal. The region exists to warn other civilizations, humanity included, not to meddle with forces it can't control. The magnetic chaos, the vanishing craft, the distorted time, all of it is less a mystery and more a cosmic keep-out sign. In this version, the Bermuda Triangle is functioning exactly as intended. We're the ones ignoring the warning. 4. The Living Map. This rare idea suggests the Bermuda Triangle is not a place at all, but a pattern that moves across Earth. It's like a parasite, an invisible zone that attaches itself to certain coordinates for decades, then shifts. The idea is that what we call the Bermuda Triangle was once over the Mediterranean, then the Indian Ocean, and now the Caribbean. Disappearances are just the footprint of a wandering anomaly that hunts oceans like prey. 5. The Phantom Ocean. Hypothesis. Some believe there's another ocean, layered over ours like a ghost. Normally we never cross it, but in the Bermuda Triangle, the barrier between the real ocean and the phantom one grows thin. When ships vanish, they're not sunk. They're sailing forever in the shadow sea. This explains why wreckage is rarely found. The vessels didn't break apart. They simply drifted into a mirror ocean that we can't reach. 6. The Triangle as an unfinished world. This final theory of Layer 9 suggests the Bermuda Triangle is literally a glitch in creation. When the Earth was formed, some parts of reality were left unfinished, patches where physics, time, and even matter didn't fully stabilize. The triangle is one of these cracks. Disappearances, storms, compass errors. They're just symptoms of existence fraying at the edges. And every ship that vanishes is being pulled not into another dimension, but into the raw void outside creation. At the Abyssal Veil, the Bermuda Triangle is no longer explained by aliens, Atlantis, or science. It becomes a place where oceans dream, where history repeats, where phantom seas overlap, and where the very edges of reality are unfinished. By now, it's not just a mystery, it's a threat. Layer 10. The Drowned God's Basement. This is it, the bottom of the iceberg. The layer you're not supposed to find. The stories here aren't in documentaries, they aren't in sailors' logs, and they sure aren't on History Channel reruns at 2 a.m. This is the stuff you hear once and then pretend you didn't. Welcome to Layer 10, the Drowned God's Basement. 1. The Unfinished Equation. Some physicists quietly admit there are strange anomalies in Earth's magnetic model that can't be explained. According to whispers in fringe science circles, the Bermuda Triangle might not be a place. It might be an error in the math of reality. The Earth's electromagnetic field works, except here. Here it's as if someone left part of the equation blank. Ships and planes don't just vanish. They fall through the missing variables. It's like driving over a bridge and discovering halfway through that someone forgot to build the middle section. 2. The ocean's operating system. This theory claims the Bermuda Triangle is actually a control panel for Earth. The hurricanes, tides, even tectonic plates, it's all programmed from this one spot. Ships disappear not because of storms or aliens, but because they got too close to the source code of the planet. Think of it as Earth's task manager. If you open the wrong file, the system deletes you. Some theorists even say Atlantis didn't sink. It got caught using the admin account. And the triangle hit CTRL plus ALT plus delete. 3. The drowned god's heartbeat. This is where mythology creeps back in. A few occult manuscripts claim the triangle covers the chest cavity of a colossal sleeping entity, something older than the oceans themselves. The strange radio static, the compass malfunctions, the pulses that confuse radar, all of it is just the heartbeat of the thing beneath us. And the vanishings? That's not bad weather. That's the god rolling over in its sleep. 4. The infinite corridor. According to this theory, the Bermuda Triangle is the entrance to an endless tunnel, an infinite hallway between dimensions. Once a ship drifts inside, it keeps going, forever. No end, no beginning, just corridor after corridor of ocean and sky looping endlessly. The people on board may not even know they've crossed over. They're still flying, still sailing, still waiting for a horizon that will never come. In this version, the triangle doesn't kill, it traps you in transit. 5. The Archon Prison. Some fringe Gnostic groups say the Bermuda Triangle isn't a natural anomaly at all, it's a jail. A cosmic prison designed to contain something that once fell to Earth. Not a monster, not a god, but a being of thought. Something so dangerous that reality itself had to build a cage around it. The ships and planes that vanish aren't random. They're the prison guards, dragged in to keep the entity contained. That's why we never see them again. They've been conscripted. 6. The recursive triangle. This is one of the strangest ideas. The Bermuda Triangle isn't inside our world. Our world is inside it. The oceans, the continents, the stars above us, they're just the surface layer of a much larger triangle. The vanishings aren't disappearances at all, they're escapes. Every ship that vanishes has simply realized the truth and managed to break free of the illusion. And we're the ones still trapped. 7. The final joke. Here's one last fringe theory. Maybe the Bermuda Triangle is exactly what it looks like. A stretch of ocean with bad storms, freak waves, and dangerous weather. Maybe all these stories, all the conspiracy, all the cosmic horror, is just humanity's way of coping with the fact that sometimes the ocean just eats things. And the joke's on us, because we spent decades inventing time portals and sea gods, when really, Poseidon's just sitting down there like, bro, I was just hungry. So that's it, the bottom of the iceberg. From unfinished equations and Earth's operating system to sleeping gods and infinite corridors. The deeper you go, the less these sound like theories and the more they sound like confessions. Maybe the Bermuda Triangle is a glitch, maybe it's a prison, maybe it's a god's chest cavity, or maybe it's just water and bad weather. But whatever it is, it's not done with us yet. And if that wasn't enough to keep you awake tonight, remember, that was just part 1. We've only scratched the surface of the triangle's iceberg. Next time, we'll dive into the even stranger side, the eyewitness encounters, the hidden files, and the theories that were too wild even for this list. So buckle up, subscribe, and maybe don't book that Caribbean cruise just yet, unless you want to star in part 2 yourself.